The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. One day I traveled to Berlin just where the wall was. They tore it down in '89 in the name of love, but to some of us the wall still stands, and to some it never did. The problem lies not in the stones, but in the minds that built it. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. Everyone around the world all feel the same emotions. The children know what Lenin said, that all we need is love. We've glorified the intellect and sacrificed the heart. Let's blow the walls to kingdom come. We all can do our part, yeah. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. Paradise is nothing but a state of mind when there's love in your heart. Unity is waiting just around the bend. Now's the time for us to do our part. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers.
The blues, yeah, quarantine blues. I wish this virus would go away. I'm in a real life version of Groundhog Day. I got the blues, quarantine blues. On tour in Chicago that March day, on top of the world, things were going my way. Started hearing about a virus, a tragic ordeal. When I got back to Nashville, it was getting real. All my shows canceled left and right. Things were gonna get worse when I was leaving inside. I got the blues, quarantine blues. I got the blues, yeah, quarantine blues. I wish that virus would go away. I'm in a real life version of Groundhog Day. I got the blues, quarantine blues. They started closing up shops, closed the schools, closed down the churches and the honky-tonks too, closed the restaurants, closed the parks, rolling up the sidewalks after dark. The biggest thrills at the grocery store, fighting over toilet paper, and then I said, Ma, I got the blues. Quarantine blues, I got the blues. Yeah, quarantine blues. I wish that virus would go away. I'm in a real life version of Groundhog Day. I got the blues. Quarantine blues. Where your dog can get a bath, but you can't cut your hair, and unless it's essential, you can't go anywhere. You better be sure when you leave your home, you're tracking every move on your cell phone. Never thought I'd live to see this nightmare called a new reality. I got the blues, quarantine blues. I got the blues, yeah, quarantine blues. I wish that virus would go away. I'm in a real life version of Groundhog Day. I got the blues, quarantine blues. I got the blues, yeah, quarantine blues.
Woe to me, I'm undone. Unclean lips and a warrior tongue. When I'm with you, silence best becomes me. But love and flames, and I'm constrained to speak. If my eyes could see the fire that consumes me, to embrace this love and what it does to me, I need to know the unapproachable. I need to hide in arms unconditional. Peace and letting go. I wanna be undone. Woe to me, I'm overwhelmed. Tired hands don't do me well. When you touch me, surrender. All the struggle that pulls me down. If I understood the kindness that you've shown me, every part of me now changed would still cry out. I need to becomes me. Then love and flames, and I'm constrained to speak. If my eyes could see the fire that consumes me, to embrace this love and what it does to me, I need to unconditional, lose my life,
down. Eyes recognize there ain't no problem. All that love can't resolve. Open your way, pray every day. Focus on your heart. Do don't just come to troubles and confuse away. I'm the meditate. Oh, get away, not to pray. Every way I'll pray. Get away, got to pray. Every sit right, close your eyes, feel your breath and rest. There, God can't solve situation that can't be every.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Hello and welcome to the People of Diversity Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community and we believe that there are many paths to one divinity. If you would like to support this amazing endeavor, you can do that at www.peopleofdiversity.org. You can drop your tithe, donation, or offering there. You can also investigate other things that we have happening in and around People of Diversity. So, we are presently on the topic of duality. Last week we heard from Rabbi Pat Hickman and Sister Donna Frost from Tennessee. Hopefully we'll be seeing her towards the end of December this year, live and in person, hanging out with us here in Brevard. This week we'll hear from our Muslim representative, Naran Sykes. Her musical accompaniment this week will be Bob Sima and Shannon Plummer. Next week we will have our Zen Buddhist representative, Sensei Dave Vidito, and his musical accompaniment will be Rob Thorworth, who's an amazing new addition to our musical community here at the People of Diversity. So without further ado, let's dive right in and we'll see you on the other side.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful pod community. This is Bob Sima coming in on Duality. If you can see, I've got my Duality shirt on, and I'm going to be sharing two songs with you here as my interpretation of duality. And this is the first song. It's called As Above, So Below. This is where empty comes to be alone. Boundless golden plains, big blue sky. Radiant expanse in all her splendor. Towering, protecting her dominion. In spite of all you've known, there is always something grander than you. And this is where quiet comes to be known. Dancing with stillness to an endless song. In this mighty, wondrous, wordless space, the silence often comes here to hide her face. In spite of all you've known, you were part of something grander than you. And never are you alone, 'cause as above, so
the mystery, great unknown. This is where empty comes to be alone. This is where everything is home. Is home.
So my second song is called I Don't Know, and that's all right. And I'm sharing this today for the topic of duality is because for me the mystery is where the joy is, where the magic is. And you know, of course we need to label things to understand them in our material world, but to me there's some magic about falling into the mystery and not needing to know. And then you'll hear in the song that not needing to know, not needing to label is a superpower on some level, and creates this sense of magic around you that is really not of this world. It's from a different place.
Can you find your way in the dark? Can you close your eyes and follow your heart? And on the roads where you can't see around the bend, can you go within and be your own best friend? Can you live in the mystery? Can you just let go? Can you enter this moment, embracing what you don't yet know, and say, I don't know, and that's alright. Things will reveal themselves to me in time, but for now I'm living in a place that feels so nice, where I don't know, and that's alright. When you are wondering when your wandering will end, can you hold that thought, sit back and just intend that everything is arranging itself for your highest good? To your patient mind, this will all be understood. Can you live in the mystery? Can you just let go? Can you enter this moment, embracing what you don't yet know, and say, yeah, I don't know, and that's alright. Things will reveal themselves to me in time, but for now I'm living in a place that feels so nice, where I don't know, and that's alright. Where I don't know, and that's alright. Not needing to know's a superpower. can only come from deep inside. Not knowing is knowing that there's a grand design. I don't know, and that's alright. I don't know, and that's all.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace and blessings to all who are on. So we are talking about duality. And as far as duality being part of Islam, I had such a huge struggle. But we believe in the oneness of the Creator. So there is no duality in the Creator. There are no partners with God. We believe there is only one God, and it is a sin in Islam to believe, and it's actually called Tawheed, which is the oneness of Allah. However, what I want to talk about today is duality as far as so ask the question, do I sometimes have feelings that are opposite to what I believe? Yes, an astute Muslim has no me in Islam. It is about annihilating the ego and surrendering to the one Creator. The duality is that I have freedom of will, but the goal is to make my will the Creator's will. And before I've talked about jihad, and this is the jihad of a Muslim. The jihad is not about the war in Islam, it's about the struggle within. And this is where I have to delve into the nafs. And I'll be using this word often. So nafs, N-A-F-S, actually means ego. When any group of people remember God, angels surround them and mercy covers them. Tranquility descends upon them. And Allah, the Divine, mentions them to those who are with the Divine. It is our heart that has various diseases that arise in it. The heart is in the middle. The spirit runs on one side, and the nafs, the ego, runs on the other. And if I use the word ruh, it's R-O-O-H. This is when I'm talking about the spirit. So the heart is in the middle, the spirit or the ruh runs on one side, and the nafs or the ego, the self, on the other. And the ruh being the connection to the unseen, and the nafs being the connection to the seen realm. We give victory to the spirit by purifying our heart and adopting the virtues enjoined on us from the Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Our state of heart is determined by whether we give victory to the ruh, the spirit, or victory to the nafs and the ego. And this is where duality comes in. In chapter 43, verse 36 of the Holy Quran, whosoever blinds themselves from the remembrance of the merciful, we shall assign for them an evil Satan, who will be their ever misleading companion. There are two ways of looking at the ego. There is a negative aspect of the ego when it is in its lower state, and there is a positive when it is in its higher state. The very world we live in in and of itself can have a negative and positive connotation. Likewise, this is the state of our ego. When we talk of the lower meaning of the ego, we are speaking about the ego that will veil one from coming to know and get close to God. It is the place where we have the lower base and the vile attributes of human beings. In contrast, when we think of the evolved or purified nafs, the ego, in its higher sense, we are talking about being who we are in the higher sense of our fitra. And our fitra is what we were born with, an innate good nature. The higher sense of our fitra, essence, or what the ego can become. This is where the ego becomes precious and valuable. There's a hadith of the tradition of the Message of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, your worst enemy is your own ego that is between your two sides. And the two sides, are we talking about the cheeks? So the tongue can cause tremendous damage. And if we don't bridle, and then we're also talking about between our two thighs, which is our private parts. And if we don't bridle that appetite, then it can get us into trouble as well. So it's the tongue and the privates. If we can't learn to change our own self, we are never going to be able to truly change the world in a beneficial way. And that is the undertaking of vicegerents on the earth and our faith. So as Muslims, we were born to surrender to the Creator, and we were also born to make this world better than when we came into it. If we do not learn to change and break the spiritually destructive habits of our egos, there is no way we can break the destructive habits of others and guide people to what is good, constructive, and beneficial spiritually. We don't leave one for the other. It means that first and foremost, we root ourselves in this understanding and take life as an opportunity to improve ourselves, refine ourselves, and purify ourselves. If we had that perspective in life, in the way we approach our careers, our studies, our relationships, our marriages, our lives would change and we would benefit from every moment we have on this earth. Imagine if our perspective was that we looked for every possible situation as an opportunity to refine ourselves, to refine our characters. Nafs, or ego, or self, is mentioned 295 times in the Holy Quran. So it's mentioned either positive or negative. And the spirit, or the ruh, is only mentioned 21 times in the Holy Quran. The concept of the nafs, often translated as soul or self, is central to understanding the human experience. The ego is seen as the essence of a person, and it is believed to be a complex and multifaceted aspect of the human being. There are several levels or stages of the nafs, or the ego. And this is in the Islamic psychology. There are actually 7, but we are going to, or I am going to talk about 3. I don't have time to talk about all 7. And the 3 levels are, the first is the nafs al-amara, which is the unconscious soul. Then the nafs al-luwama, which is the soul reproach etya, It knows right from wrong. So it is the reproaching self. And then there is nafs mutmaina, which is the soul that is content and is at rest. And this is my prayer, that I will reach the nafs mutmaina. So the lower self, the nafs al-amara, represents the ego or the selfish desires and motivation of a person. It is seen as being driven by base instincts and desires. It can lead person to engage in harmful behaviors. In Quran, chapter 12, verse 53, explained about nafs amara, which says, "Nor do I absolve my own self of blame. The human soul is certainly prone to evil unless my Lord does bestow his mercy, but surely my Lord is oft forgiving, most merciful." The soul that commands to the indulgence of pleasures and sensual appetites, the carnal soul. Then the second level of the ego is the nafs al-lawama. It represents the conscience or the ability to recognize and feel remorse for wrongdoing. It is seen as a step above the lower self, allowing a person to recognize the error of their ways and seek forgiveness. Then there is the soul at peace, the content soul, which is the nafs al-mutmaina, represents the highest level of the ego, and it is characterized by inner peace, contentment, and spiritual fulfillment. It is seen as being in harmony with God's will and is achieved through spiritual discipline and submission to the Creator. In Quran chapter 89, verse 27 to 30 tells us to consider more about the content self, which says, "O soul, thou art at rest. Return to thy Lord well pleased with him, and he will draw you into his presence." And in Quran 2, verse 207, "And there is the type of man who gives life, or gives his life to earn the pleasure of the divine. And Allah is full of kindness to his devotees." The concept of the nafs in Islamic psychology highlights the complex and multifaceted nature of the human self, and it provides a framework for understanding and striving for personal and spiritual growth. The nafs, or the ego, is seen as the source of both good and evil within a person, and it is believed that the key to spiritual development is to cultivate a higher aspect of the nafs and to overcome the lower aspects. So the ways for us as Muslims to seek higher aspects is that we practice our 5 pillars, and it can be achieved through practice of taqwa, which is God consciousness or piety. And God consciousness involves cultivating a deep awareness of the Creator, of the divine, and striving to live in accordance with his will. This involves practicing the 5 pillars, as I said, as far as charity, prayer, and also patience, compassion, and kindness. Cultivation of the higher aspects of the ego can also be achieved through the practice of, there's a word called dhikr, and often translated as remembrance of Allah, or meditation, actually. So this meditation involves repeating the names of God or phrases from the Quran as means of focusing the mind and cultivating a deeper connection with the divine. May God Almighty protect our souls from the manipulation of the evil thoughts. I want to tell you a beautiful story. So a man reviles Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr is the closest companion to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and is also his father-in-law. So a man reviles Abu Bakr in the presence of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. And the Prophet Muhammad remained seated. He looked pleased and he smiled. The man insulted Abu Bakr a second time, but Abu Bakr controlled himself and remained silent. The man insulted Abu Bakr a third time, and Abu Bakr let his tongue loose and responded back. At this point, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, got up and left. Abu Bakr followed after the Prophet and said, "O Messenger of Allah, he insulted me and you just sat there. Then when I responded to some of what he said, you became disturbed and got up." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "There was an angel with you who was responding to his insults on your behalf." Then the Prophet said, peace and blessings be upon him, "Abu Bakr, keep in mind three things which are always true. One of which is that whenever a person is subjected to an injustice but leaves the matter to the divine, then Allah will come to his aid." There's another narration that says that the Prophet Muhammad, and peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you started defending yourself, let me back up. So while you were just taking this insult, there were angels defending you. However, when you started to defend yourself, the shaitan or the devil came in, and the Prophet Muhammad said, peace and blessings be upon him, that I do not keep company with the shaitan, with the devil, and this is why I removed myself from that conversation. So cultivating a nurturing environment for the inner self, if we think of the heart as a piece of farmland or the spiritual earth within human beings, just as we have outwardly cultivate, we have to outwardly cultivate, till and hoe it by preparing and using the land for the crops one intends to grow. We have to take into consideration the climate, timing, and conditions. This is the state of the heart. There are different types of soil in the heart. Heart is mentioned 132 times in the Quran. As the heart becomes harder, it is like trying to plant on rocky soil. Seeds of guidance will slide off, and it lacks nutrients. In nurturing nature, it can get rooted, and it gets snatched up by the birds. Stony hearts will germinate seeds, but will not grow deep roots, and it will wither in the sun. Thorny hearts will germinate seeds, but cannot compete with the overtaking thorns and weeds. As the heart becomes softer, it becomes like fertile soil, receptive to seeds of guidance, and it can bear fruit. I want to read a poem by Rumi, and it's a long poem, so please forgive me for reading this, but this Rumi on the ego, on the nafs. Let's ask God to help us to self-control. For one who lacks it, lacks grace. The undisciplined person doesn't wrong himself alone, but sets fire to the whole world. Discipline enabled heaven to be filled with light. Discipline enabled the angels to be immaculate and holy. The peacock's plumage is his enemy. The world is the mountain, and each action the shout that echoes back. This discipline and rough treatment are a furnace to extract the silver from the dross. The spiritual path wrecks the body and afterwards restores it to health. Anger and lust make a man squint when self-interest appears. Virtue hides. Fortunate is he who does not carry envy as a companion. In the field of spirit, there is no division, no individuals exist. The idol of yourself is the mother of all idols. To regard the self as easy to subdue is a mistake. If you wish mercy, show mercy to the weak. The stopped jar, though in rough water, floated because of its empty heart. When the wind of poverty is in anyone, she floats in peace on the waters of this world. As long as desires are fresh, faith is not, for it is these desires that lock that gate. The tongue of mutual understanding is quite special. To be one of heart is better than to have a common tongue. If you dig a pit for others to fall into, you will fall into it yourself. Many of the faults you see in others, dear reader, are your own nature reflected in them. With will, fire becomes sweet water. The lion who breaks the enemy's ranks is a minor hero compared to the lion who overcomes himself. O son, only those whose spiritual eye has been opened know how compulsive we are. Whoever gives reverence receives reverence. The intellectual quest, though fine as pearl or coral, is not the spiritual search. The intelligent desire, self-control, children want candy. And ignorance and forgetfulness are born. Know you have tasted the unlawful. Know that a word suddenly shot from the tongue is like an arrow shot from the bow. O tongue, you are an endless treasure. O tongue, you are also an endless disease. I am burning. If anyone lacks tinder, let him set his rubbish ablaze with my fire. Although your desire tastes sweet, doesn't the beloved desire you to be desireless? The world's flattery and hypocrisy is a sweet morsel. Eat less of it, for it is full of fire. Forgetfulness of God, beloved, is the support of this world. Spiritual intelligence, its ruin. For intelligence belongs to that other world, and when it prevails, this material world is overthrown. Were there no men of vision, all who are blind would be dead. All these griefs within our hearts arrive from the smoke and dust of our existence and vain desires. Whoever lives sweetly dies painfully. Whoever serves his body doesn't nourish his soul. Your thinking is like a camel driver, and you are the camel. It drives you in every direction under its bitter control. If you are wholly perplexed and in straits, have patience, for patience is the key to joy. Fast from thoughts. Fast thoughts are like the lion and the wild ass. Anyone in whom the troublemaking self has died, sun and cloud obey. If you wish to shine like day, burn up the night of self-existence, dissolve in the being who is everything. There is no worse sickness for the soul, O you who are proud, than this pretense of perfection. The heart and eyes must bleed a lot before self-complacency falls away. Can the water of a polluted stream clear out the dung? Can human knowledge sweep away the ignorance of the essential self? How does a sword fashion its own hilt? Go, entrust the cure of this wound to a surgeon. Many are the unbelievers who long for submission, but their stumbling block is reputation and pride and continual desires. I'm the devoted slave of anyone who doesn't claim to have attained dining with God at every way station. I thank you all for being with me today. Bless you. Assalamu alaikum. And my prayer is that duality has come forth. And as I said, I struggled so much with the subject, but comparing the ego to the soul or to the self has been an awakening journey for me. Assalamu alaikum. Bless everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Shannon. Amazing as build. Naran, thank you so much for your passion and your intensity. It's interesting to note that Bob and Shannon and Naran were our last live event before COVID. They were the team that we met in Cocoa Village and had our very last live, but closed service right at the beginning of COVID. So it was good to see them back together again. So past services, where can you find those? You can find them at the People of Diversity page, the People of Diversity group, and the People of Diversity YouTube channel. You have to subscribe, join, become a member of those groups in order to get the little ding on Sunday morning. But that is also the place where all of these past services are archived. In the Facebook platform, it's under the lives or under archive videos. And in the YouTube, we've set up a channel, People of Diversity. It's the one with the hands. And we have playlists set up by faith or by topic. So it's a great place to dive into your personal spiritual search or journey, or perhaps connected to some kind of secondary school education or graduate school where you're diving into world religions. It's just a deep and wide resource for you to study and learn and really get an idea of what's happening at the real level when you're applying your faith to your life. It's a beautiful opportunity. So we do a deep dive after the morning service. It starts at about 11:30. We go to noon. We try not to let it go past that. We don't want to eat up your day, but we do want to have an opportunity to visit and hang out and share what we just learned or what we just experienced with the talk. Naran is also a pickleball champion, so she does not join us on Sunday because she is playing. So we will not see her, but we gather nonetheless and hang out for a bit and visit. There's a second broadcast. It's only on Facebook, and it's at 5:45 on Sunday evening. It's just a rebroadcast of the morning service in case you're at your own faith home in the morning and you want to catch the second piece of our broadcast to enhance perhaps what you learned in the morning. We highlight a country every week, and we send love and energy to them. This week it is Syria. They are having some rough times in Syria. So as we come together and we focus our energy and our love, let's send healing energy, understanding, strength to these folks as they try to come to a deeper understanding of themselves and really find a peaceful option to express themselves. That would be beautiful. May peace prevail in Syria. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. So we are doing live events at the pod now on the first and last Monday of every month at the Unitarian Universalist Friendship Fellowship Hall in Rockledge, Florida. I am not going to try and say that more than once. It's a beautiful facility, and the church there has offered us Monday nights to come together and do a plethora of different live events, from drum circles to sound baths to classes like what's your love language and how does that affect your life. So join us for those. It's from 7 till 9 on Monday nights in Rockledge. Next week we will hear from Sensei Dave Vidito, and as I said earlier, an amazing new musician, Rob Thorworth, so don't miss out on that. If you would like to offer a tithe, donation, an offering, as I mentioned at the beginning of the service, you can do that at www.peopleofdiversity.org, and we are very grateful. We close our Sunday service with an energetic healing circle. If you will bring into your mind's eye anyone who needs healing, support, love, to be seen, to be understood. Let's put into that circle also the folks who are trying to run the planet in a good way and send them support and love as they do their jobs. So have an amazing week, a great rest of your day, and enjoy this moment as we come together and send out healing, love, and light. Have a great week.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love.